The loss of heavy armored vehicles, which should have opened the way for Russian infantry to Ukrainian cities and villages, has exceeded 10,000 units, and it just doesn't work. At this rate of losses, Russia may lose the ability to provide the fighting army with the necessary amount of equipment in about a year. Since the beginning of the war, Russia has lost 10,037, to be precise, units of armored vehicles of all types, according to the Oryx website, which keeps track of documented, I repeat, documented losses. Among them, 3,376 tanks, including 159 of the most modern T-90s. Various modifications of them, more than 5,000 infantry fighting vehicles and airborne troops, as well as armored personnel carriers and more than 1,500 armored vehicles of other types, including transport, reconnaissance, anti-mine, etc., etc. The losses of ground armored vehicles are so great that 85% of tanks and armored vehicles arriving at the front are restored and refurbished. All Soviet equipment, estimate the International Institute for Strategic Studies and the Royal United Services Institute. To maintain the pace of offensive operations in Ukraine, the Russian military relies heavily on restored stocks of Soviet Empire, that's right, and its equipment, especially armored vehicles. Experts from the Institute for the Study of War note in their latest report. So, Soviet stockpiles are running low, obviously, but who would ever expect that in Russia, right? And Putin's version of Russia is simply incapable of producing enough to replace the equipment lost in Ukraine. Also, ISW adds, Russia is likely to face increasing problems in producing and procuring the material needed to conduct operations in Ukraine, and the Kremlin is likely to increasingly rely on foreign partners to meet these needs. End of quote. The ISW report says. Russian Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu arrived recently in the Iranian capital on Tuesday. That happened. The Iranian president, addressing his guest, promised to develop deeper ties with Russia to counter Western sanctions. Well, I wonder who these partners might be. China more than Iran? Or maybe Viktor Orban personally? Well, whoever that will be, they would better think twice about what they actually want: to share victory of civilization or defeat of dictatorship.